losers, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Chrissy Unicorn, and in today's video, you can probably already tell by the title, but I'm going to be reacting to the truth behind Dance Moms. Now, if you do not know what Dance Moms is basically a reality TV show based on 50% drama and 50% little girls dancing.
Listen, I said, Brooke, is your mother speaking for you? Do you
out
want to
of
be
my face, girls, out the room.
Yeah,
Girls,
you
out the
idiot.
room. Out the room. Get away from me.
The show started originally in 2011 and ended all the way in 2018. But we have been hearing a little bit from Abby Lee Miller and the girls that were on the show, and they have had a lot to speak about on the truth and what happened behind the scenes, off camera, with the producers and everything. And in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to that and give you guys my input on it. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, in 3, 2, 1.
Dance Moms was one of the most popular reality TV shows of the 2010s. It followed dance teacher Abby Lee Miller as she coached her young students in her Pennsylvania studio. And as the title suggests, it also follows the dancers' mothers and all of the drama.
So basically that's what I meant. It's 50% drama and 50% dancers. The mothers were basically the people that fought the most. I'm not saying there was never drama between the kids, because again, I haven't watched the whole show yet, but it's definitely mainly the mothers that argue more than the kids. So
that comes with being a full-time dance mom. There were arguments, but also happy moments. However, despite it being extremely popular, this did not mean that it was met without controversy. And several ex-students of the dance company have since severed their ties to Abby, who was once almost like a second mother, saying,
see, this is what I meant, because Abby was on, basically it's a junior league competition team. Abby was, the girls have had a lot to say about Abby in the past, saying that she's been very traumatizing towards them. I don't know how that feels personally, because I was never on Dance Moms or on a junior league competition team, but this is just what I've heard from the girls and other people.
The teacher had left them with lifelong trauma. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the show and what made it so successful, and also what led to its fiery downfall. Dance Mom's first episode aired in July of 2011, and we saw the process of Abby Lee Miller training her students up to then travel to various competitions each week. However, even though the girls at the studio were extremely talented, Abby's teaching style was found to be very questionable. She would aggressively shout at the girls, some of which were only 7 years old, and belittle them, and even famously said that she had a talent for making kids cry.
Hold up. See, this is what I don't get, because how that is not okay. And what she is saying, she's acting like it's okay to make kids cry, and it's she's saying that quote, that famous quote, she had a talent for making kids cry. That's not okay. The little girls that were on the show that she was screaming at, they were literally 7 to 6 years old. She was screaming, this is not okay. That's not okay. That's no different from a school teacher getting in your face screaming at you because you can't get a math problem right. My bad, you're supposed to be the one teaching me. It's not my fault that I don't know all this stuff because you didn't teach it to me yet. What do you expect? Do you expect me to automatically know how to dance coming into the dance world? How does that even make sense? If anything, she should be mad at herself. If that even makes sense, it should, but it might not make sense to a lot of people watching this. But you're the teacher, you're supposed to be teaching them, so if you should be mad at anybody, you should be mad at yourself, because you're supposed to be the one teaching them, and you're getting mad at them for not knowing.
One of her weird antics was called the Weekly Pyramid, where Abby would gather the girls together and rank them from worst to best. This also showed her favoritism towards certain girls, like Maddie. The other problem with this was that whoever was on the top of the pyramid would usually be given more solo dances and all around receive more opportunities to shine the next week, whereas others would not have the option to prove and redeem themselves, leading to some girls being constantly pushed.
Just because you're not on the top of the pyramid doesn't mean you're a bad dancer or you're bad at something. And then I honestly feel bad for the little girl Maddie, because that means that she had more pressure on her to stay on the top of the pyramid. because like since she's on top of the pyramid, that means she wants to remain Abby's favorite, and if she wants to remain Abby's favorite, she like had to work harder out of all the girls. I know, no, I'm not saying that necessarily the other girls didn't work harder, because the other girls definitely did work hard and wanted to get where Maddie was, but Maddie definitely had a lot more pressure on her, especially because she wanted to remain Abby's favorite and remain at the top of the pyramid and keep doing like great things. But that put a lot of pressure on her, which I'm back to recording. There was an ad that showed up.
The show was extremely successful in its first few seasons, especially because the moms would get into tons of drama. They would argue over whose child was better, then argue with Abby on why certain kids were being favored. This would all then build up over time and lead to huge fights.
Get your finger out of my face fight. That fight was that was like the most like craziest fight out of like the whole entire Dance Moms season. The whole entire Dance Moms like show.
That sometimes even got physical. So as y'all can see, the show thrived mainly because of the competitive aspect and also because of the behind the scenes mess. But then in 2017, the trajectory
said, like the show was mainly big because of the drama and like the competitiveness between the girls, because they were all basically rivaling more than being like a team and working together. They were all basically rivals. They were just all against each other. Some of them were very competitive, and then there was other people that were just like, I'm happy for you. Like it just really depends. Like from what I've watched, many of them were very like competitive, and they just really wanted to like get Abby's attention basically and show Abby that they can do good things too, other than Maddie and Mackenzie.
Arriving and at the peak of its popularity, Abby revealed that she was at the risk of going bankrupt. This shocked both the moms and the viewers.
I never heard about that. I never heard ever that Abby was going bankrupt. That's the only time I heard about that. I did not know that she was going bankrupt. That's crazy.
Watching, since no one could fathom how Miller could be struggling financially while the show
was the craziest thing ever. I did not know that she was going bankrupt. Like the show was doing like so well at that time, and I remember watching the show like around that time, and I'm watching the show also now. So some of the things I might be missing, but that's because I'm still watching the show right now. But the show seemed to be doing pretty good for her to be going bankrupt, and I'm not saying that like, you know, it's like bad for her or something. I don't know. I'm not trying to make it seem like a bad thing or like, you know, like she's lying or something.
This big announcement was far from the truth, since she was later arrested on 20 counts of fraud. Abby had hidden $700,000 worth of her income from starring in the show, as well as failing to report
$700,000. You know how much my words are so mixed and mumbled up, and that is because I'm so surprised. $700,000, 20 counts of fraud. Oh my god! And I started to feel bad for her. I'm like, oh my god, that is so bad. And by the way, guys, my assistant picked this video out for me. I did not like. This is a blind reaction. I actually started to feel bad for her, and I'm like, what? Like, oh. $700,000. I started to feel bad for her. I'm like, wow, she's going bankrupt. Wow. And then when I saw 20 counts of fraud and $700,000, you know how much $700,000 is? And she's like, 20 counts of fraud? A dance teacher? Like, that is crazy. I am so surprised.
$120,000 worth of Australian currency that she had brought into the country. The future of the show and Abby Lee's...
She brought the cash into plastic bags out of the country. This is like, oh, like I'm actually like, I'm mind blown. I wonder what was going on that day, what they were thinking, like how, like, this is like...
Studio was in a completely vulnerable state, and many of the moms decided that they would be parting ways with the dance company, most notably Melissa Ziegler, who had been known as Abby's closest friends throughout the show's history out of all the mothers.
One thing that I have realized with watching the show is that Melissa is like one of like the like fakest people, like the fakest moms I know. Like she pretends she cares about all the girls when really she only cares about her two girls, and she'll do like literally anything to get her kids ahead, and literally anything. She would do anything to get her kids ahead, even if it meant like kissing up to Abby. She was doing that. Like that's why she was always cleaning up at the studios, working at the desk, because she really wanted to get her kids ahead. And she pretty much already had her kids ahead because Maddie was already a great dancer as it was. So if she really would have let Maddie do her thing and Mackenzie do their things, she didn't really have to case up to Abby. Is what I'm thinking.
8 months in prison for her crimes, where she said both the other inmates as well as the prison officers treated her terribly for being a celebrity. But having to scrub dirty toilets all day was the least of her concerns because while Abby was serving time, she began feeling extremely physically unwell. Despite mistreatment from the officers, she was finally allowed to see a doctor for her symptoms, where she was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of spinal cancer. Following the devastating news about her health, Abby was released from prison early, and she went through chemotherapy as well as emergency spine surgery, which left her unable to walk. One of the worst things about this as well, you guys, was that even though Abby was at the lowest point of her life, all of the friends and co-stars that she had been working with for the last 6 years had vanished and refused to see her. There was only one of her students that was JoJo Siwa, who went to visit her while Abby was staying in the hospital. Eventually, Abby thankfully beat her illness and equipped herself with a wheelchair in order to get around.
Between her and Nia, they were both they were both the ones that were like treated the worst in the group. So like,
Statement from her that sticks in my mind to this day during my time on Dance Moms Season 8 is, I know you grew up in the hood with only a box of 8 crayons, but I grew up in the country club with a box of 64. Don't be stupid.
Serious? Oh my god! You've gotta be joking! I cannot believe this! I cannot believe this woman! She is a full-on, like, dance teacher. She's a full-on dance teacher. She has a full-on reality TV show. Like, why? What are you thinking? Like, what could be going on through your head to say something like that to a child's mother? Like, why would you say that? You're a teacher. That's like that's very unprofessional. And this is not like the first time Abby said like very messed up things to students and stuff. Abby said like way more hurtful things to, like, she's said so many more hurtful things to students. And this has to be one of like the most like ones where it's just like, are you crazy? Like, you really would stoop that low to say something that racist? Like, that's not okay. That's racist. That's not okay. And I don't know if Abby thought that was okay or funny or something. Like, I wonder who was around when that happened and, like, if she was trying to be funny and, like, cute. But that's not okay. That's, like, actually, like, why would a person stoop that low to say something that disrespectful, racist, and hurtful? Like, and especially, with, like, when all that stuff was going on through the world and she, like, said that. Like, come on. Like, how childish can you be? And you're like a grown 50-something-year-old woman. Like, how childish can you really be?
The following day, another mother from the show decided to back up these claims by exposing Abby for treating her daughter differently and creating a hostile environment while her daughter was on the show. Abby was now in the eye of the storm and issued an apology to the ex-castmates saying, I realize that racial insensitivity can come not just...
Here's the fake default, like, apology that she probably got somebody else to write some type
from hate, but also from ignorance. No matter the cause, it's harmful and it's my fault. While I cannot change the past or remove the harm that I've done, I promise to educate myself, learn, grow, and do better. While I hope to one day earn your forgiveness, I recognize that words alone are not enough. I understand it takes time and genuine change. Even though she made an attempt to rectify the situation, Abby quickly learned that just because you have freedom of speech, it doesn't absolve you from having to face the consequences of what you've said. And on June 5th, the day following her apology, Lifetime announced that they would be permanently pulling the plug on Dance Moms, and that it would be cutting all ties with Abby following her racist remarks. So that's how the show Dance Moms went from being a Lifetime Network staple to another tainted competition show.
Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. If you enjoyed, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notification bell so you guys can be notified every single time I post another video. Let me know what you guys think about the remarks that Abby has made, and comment down below if you guys think that I should make another Dance Moms video and just turn this into a series. Or let me know in the comment section below if you would like for me to react to any other type of videos. Leave them in the comment section below and give me ideas, and I'll be sure to get to them. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Dancing for so long under the stars, I feel that the grass will cut through my skin.